Hello, everybody. One of the hardest conversations to ever have or discuss is basically surrounding our parents and how, as adults, we tend to treat them. When we look at the way society is working right now, and we think about our government and the news, and we look at those facilities that have been set in place for them, old age homes and stuff like that, it has come under a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of things that have unfolded, but at the end of the day, it concerns our parents. Now, as believers and as ethical individuals in this world, and we have to be in this place of being brutally honest with ourselves. When you picture this and you think about your childhood and you think about your parents, and let's face it, we've had fantastic childhoods growing up. I mean, you sit and you exchange stories with your friends. You may be sitting there bragging and doing whatever, and or you have these family gatherings and you can't stop reminiscing about your childhood. But at the heart of it is no one else but your parents, and no one else but your parents. When you think back on their lives, and you think back 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, life was hard. We're facing situations with us being a non-democratic country. We were facing situations where salary and stuff like that was, our kids get pocket change, pocket money that is more than what our parents earned. And here's the amazing thing about it, is that our parents were able to feed us. Our parents were able to clothe us. Our parents were able to educate us. Our parents were able to see to the necessary things like us going to the doctor and making certain that we had all of our shots and stuff like that. And that's an important thing. Somehow, they made it work. And let's face it, we're talking about households that involved about 3 to 4 children. And that was the norm. Some had more. They never ever fussed. They never hid money from their children. They never went on holiday without their children. They never went on shopping sprees without their children. And the sad thing is, when you sit and you start to really work through things and you look at life and you begin to understand that as we grow older, what we've done with our parents and to our parents is actually shameful. For those that have their parents living with them and you do this thing of taking care of them, and you make certain that you make certain you never leave them. Where you go, they go. What you eat, they eat. When you buy something, you make certain they have. You're able to find this balance where you pull all of your resources together, them and you make certain that the house is well provided for, everybody is taken care of. And then it's a different story. However, society is not like that. And when you look at society, go into the rural areas, go into the townships, go into the urban areas, go into these facilities, these old age facilities and so forth, you'll find the picture is different, and those pictures tell a different story altogether. The hard thing is coming to the realization that as we grow up, we find that children have been able to do this incredibly bad thing. Their salaries sometimes have been more than what their parents earned in an entire year for the 1 month. When you combine it and you really have a think about it, our parents normally or generally there was like one breadwinner, and the mom was normally the stay-at-home mother. Didn't have the luxury of a helper, didn't have the luxury of a gardener, didn't have the luxury of a chauffeur, didn't have the luxury of anything. Did all of those chores. That was her function. When you think about it, and I remember my parents, I can see them. You know, you do your chores as well. Come the weekends, come after school, you will get involved and help out. However, the task and the bulk of things went to the parent, our parents. And what I find is that as I sit and I reflect and I think about it, we have behaved as grown-up children, we have behaved so selfishly towards our parents. Having them over to visit us, we see it as a burden. We may pretend and enjoy as long as it's just a weekend, as long as the most we want them with us is like a week. Longer than that becomes taxing. They get in your way. More than that, you've got to provide for them. When they are ill, to cover the costs of those treatments and to take care of them, to spend time with them as well, nursing them, is a burden, is a bigger strain. So much so, as grown-up children, we tend to look at faces. Who's going to do what? We shift the responsibility from one child to the other, to the other, to the other. We also do this thing of trying to downplay our lifestyles so drastically that to the world outside, to society, our neighbors, our communities, it may seem as if we're just living above. That bread line, so to speak. However, what we do is we've become so selfish and mean. We've taken the bulk of it, we've stashed it away, and we try to present a certain kind of a bracket margin, and we convince people that this is how we live. We can quite easily come home, bring presents and say, oh my word, we had the most fantastic holiday. And we will give them those meager presents that we've bought along the way, without ever thinking and remembering and realizing they never had the luxuries of doing that because they were too busy raising us up. It's like the thing that we do come Mother's Day and Father's Day. All that they're worth at the end of the day is maybe a pair of bedroom slippers, maybe a new dress, maybe a voucher, for a suit or something like that. However, even that would be too much. See, what we the reality is, how many parents out there with grown-up children suffer. It's not just old age, but some serious illnesses, some life-threatening. You can sit there and watch them dying, knowing that you have the resources to be different, to make a difference. But you keep that locked inside of you, and you look at faces. This is what society has done to our parents. And for most of them, parents don't complain. They don't ask. They don't ask because they don't want to be insulted. They don't ask because they can see for themselves. Parents are not stupid. Parents are not stupid. And yet, they have given of everything. You look at them and you see the weariness on them. You look at them and you see the exhaustion. You look at them and you see the drain. You look at, we do this thing of, it's the funniest thing. We can come sit with our parents, go and visit them in their, to us sometimes it's an embarrassment. We call it their shabby homes. I don't know why they're living there. They could just sell up and they could move to somewhere else and whatever. Without realizing, well, they've spent all their money raising us up. We drop in, and of course, we drop in and it's all fanciness and whatever. And of course, we have to take that stop along the way, grab the cake, grab the biscuits, grab the whatever, and we sat there, oh my word, and there, we were at church or we were at this, and it came to our attention that this person, and then the family is so poor. So, we went and we donated this, and we bought a couch, and we just said, it, I mean, without even the blinkers are still on, it's as if we are totally blind because we've taken them for granted. Sometimes the way we treat them, it's as if we're, doing them a service by dropping in. As if we're visiting some underprivileged person in our community. And that's what we've done to our parents. We've drained them of every bit of resource that they could have ever had. We've totally drained them of it. And we've hid. See, when you look at it, and you really, the ones that you keep looking to, and sometimes they earn the least. But they love the most. Because it's hard to sit by and watch somebody in pain. It's hard to sit by and watch somebody suffering. It's hard to sit by and watch anybody. If you have that kind of heart, you will never, ever, ever be able to withhold anything from the ones you love. You will make certain that they have the best. You will make certain that they can remain with you longer than what is expected. And that's just the way it is. But I don't know, we sit and we watch all of these things on social media. We watch the news, and we watch the news like right around the world, and so we understand. But I don't know what it's going to be like for us come Judgment Day. I don't know what it's going to be like for us when we have to accept the knowledge of all of this. And also the knowledge that we've done that. It's a terrible thing how we've taken away the dignity of our parents, how we've stripped them of everything, how we've left them to try and fend for themselves. We expect them to, use their whatever grants or whatever they get, and whatever their husbands have left them, the widows, whatever it is, if they were working, whatever they had saved for, to actually make certain that they can provide for themselves, feed themselves, do all of those things. And we count them and we consider them a burden. And yet, all through life, from birth, right till the time, right up until one gets married, and even after that, you'll find parents do this. Their children will step into a marriage, step into maybe business. When things go bad, They go to their parents, and their parents never refuse them. But when the tables are flipped, the conversations and the complaining that happens with friends, especially friends, because to talk with family is a dangerous thing sometimes. So it has to be with their friends. They demean them, they humiliate them, they insult them, thinking that no one's ever going to find out the true feelings. This is what grown-up children do to their parents. And the question is, when are their children that have this knowledge going to sit up and say, I'm not like my father, I'm not like my mother, I choose to be different, I choose to treat my grandparents differently, I choose to make it common knowledge of what they have and what we have and what we don't have. I choose to not withhold this from them. When are we going to train up our children in the ways of the Lord? You know, we talk about living as children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In fact, we boast about it in society. But living as children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob means that we've got to live as individuals or people that will do this thing of being kinsmen, redeemers. The truth is, do we even know whether we have a religion or not, whether we have a faith or not? I pray that you would look at the stats and look at society, look at your community, look at your own lives, look at our lives. Look at our parents. Are we doing right by them? Take care, everybody. Bye.